How did practice go today, Coach?
Good. Yeah.
Was he able to go
Who?
much?
She's full. Full. Look great.
Full? Okay. Obviously playing Vegas tomorrow night with Asia, who missed the last game. Kind of obviously she's one of the best players on the planet, but just how much different does Vegas look with Asia in the lineup versus without?
I mean, it's probably similar to how much different do we look when Fee's not in the lineup, right? Like certain parts of your playbook are less effective, but I think with her in the lineup, there's just a player who's very capable of getting 30 on you, and so that creates maybe a scenario we didn't have to guard the first time around. That being said, they were really hard. They were playing 4 guards at that time, right? And so that was unique. So a little over a month ago, but they look different. Even the trade for Melissa Smith has made them different, right? So 5 scorers, in the lineup, and obviously with Asia getting attention, that's you got potential for leaving some other good players more open than what you want. They drive it well. They're number one in direct drives. They're scoring in the paint a little more than last time. Again, makes sense, right? Because Asia's in there. They're playing well. They're playing well, and obviously we know we've got a work cut out for us.
Obviously, this team hangs its hat on the defense, and last year, tops in the league in just about in its own number of categories. This year, even better. When you think about just coaching team defense and improving a defense that's already great, what's kind of the key to doing that? Is it kind of having a lot of players who have played together and getting better on the instinctual side, or just?
Yeah, no, I think there's no question the continuity of the roster. I think just getting even better, because they were doing it for the first time last year, right? And so you're doing it for a second time. And so I think the nuances of our scouting reports, et cetera, I think our rim protection has been exceptional. Maybe that's the place that we took a step. Now, we weren't bad last year, but we're just terrific in our rim protection. Adding, some bench players that also give us rim protection, like Masha, when in her minute. So we don't lose it when we sub, whereas maybe that happened a little bit last year. So, I guess continuity, familiarity, et cetera, and just, the complete buy-in. Just we know that's our path.
I just have one more question on Masha. You've mentioned, I think, a couple of times her first practice with the team. She went to the floor pretty early on in practice. Has that energy, do players, dive for balls in practice a little bit more? I know the effort was never a question with this team, but just is kind of?
You mean as far as it contagious for others to do it?
Yeah.
I think it's been Masha. I don't think. If the opportunity presented itself, like if it was a game situation, I think we'd see it for sure. BC did it. There was a key possession that she got on the floor for. I think it was a Chicago game at Chicago. I think it's part of the identity of this group. They're not above doing those kind of things.
Does Masha figure into the rim protection? Because when we see her on the floor, it seems like there's a level of poise and composure where she's just standing straight up and not flashy, but she's getting the job done.
Her timing is really good. So if you watch her, whether she's in pick and roll or whether she's, got a big that's making a move, she's cerebral in that she's it's like she's timing. Like she knows what's coming next, and so she knows get ready. They're getting ready to turn this shoulder, that shoulder, and she's long and she understands how to use her length. So she sort of combines. Like you said, it's not flashy with flying around, but. One of our best players at 2-on-2 pick and roll, when a guard's taken off trying to do something, you're not going to score over Masha. So, I've enjoyed Masha at both ends of the floor.
With Diamond shooting really well this season, so maybe some of it is personnel, teams giving her some cushion, but it also translates to the free throw line too, when she's been really productive there. What kind of adjustments have you seen, or is it just the hard work of her paying off right now?
If you follow Diamond through her college career, Diamond's always been a plus 80% free throw shooter. That's never been an issue for Diamond. Consistency, shooting the basketball from year to year as a college player. That's something obviously we're working on as a pro to try to mitigate. You can't have the wild swings. Diamond works hard. And, she loves shooting the basketball, right? So she's always in the gym. So obviously that work that she's put in has led to some consistency this year.
I don't have this statistic, but I'm sure Swanee does.
Yeah.
It kind of feels like, and I asked BC about this earlier, but it feels like she's getting more pick sixes this season than she has in the past.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Especially the last few games. Is that something that she's sort of added to her game, being a little bit more opportunistic, or is it just kind of the deflections of the team defense and Bridget just being in the right spot at the top of the
Yeah, I think it's an aggression, right? And it's the mindset of what we want on both offense and defense. I think the scouting report, knowing where someone's going to be, her anticipation of it, and, BC is exceptional in that space, and I think that's why you're seeing that smart player, positionally, always going to be in the right spot. There's times when I really get on her in a game, and like, why'd you do that? And then I walk away going, BC's always right. Like, sit down. Like whatever she did was exactly what she should have done. But that's for her anticipation and her intellect for what's happening. I think, and just overall aggressive mindset.